The guards heard a thud. Stalin had fallen. They stood outside his door, listening, terrified. For 12 hours, they did nothing. The most powerful man in the world lay dying. And no one helped him. Because helping might mean death. Subscribe now. This gets darker than you can imagine. Joseph Stalin ruled the Soviet Union for 30 years. Killed millions. Purged anyone who threatened him. Even imagined threats. His own doctors. He'd just arrested them. Accused them of plotting assassination. The best physicians in the Soviet Union. In prison. Or dead. The irony? When he actually needed doctors, there were none left. He'd killed them all. January 1953. Just 2 months before his death, Stalin announced the doctors' plot. Claimed 9 Kremlin doctors, most of them Jewish, were poisoning Soviet leaders. Mass arrests. Torture. Confessions extracted. The message was clear: trust no one. Not even those trying to save your life. Stalin created an environment where competence was suspicious. And competence got you killed. February 28, 1953. Stalin hosted a dinner. His inner circle. Beria, head of secret police. Malenkov. Khrushchev. Bulganin. They drank. Heavily. Stalin forced them to drink. A test of loyalty. They stayed until 4 a.m. Stalin was drunk. Paranoid. Ranting. They left exhausted. Stalin went to his room. Alone. As always. He trusted no one. Not even guards. Especially not guards. March 1st morning. Stalin's routine was rigid. He always called for breakfast by 10 a.m. 10 a.m. passed. No call. 11 a.m. Nothing. Noon. Still nothing. The guards waited. Terrified. Stalin had a rule: never disturb him. Ever. People who disturbed Stalin disappeared. So they waited. And listened. And did absolutely nothing. While he lay dying inside. 6 p.m. 18 hours since the dinner ended. A light appeared under Stalin's door. Movement inside. The guards relaxed slightly. He was awake. Moving. Everything was normal. They didn't know. Stalin had regained partial consciousness. Was trying to reach the phone. Couldn't. Trying to call for help. Couldn't speak. The light they saw. Him struggling. Failing. Alone. 10 p.m. 22 hours since the dinner. The guards couldn't wait longer. They needed orders. Called the chief of security. He came. Stared at the door. He didn't want to enter either. Finally, he ordered, "Open it." The guards unlocked the door. Pushed it open. And found their dictator. On the floor. In his night clothes. Lying in his own urine. Still alive. Barely. They found Stalin at 10 p.m. Did they call doctors immediately? No. First, they called Stalin's inner circle. Beria. Malenkov. Khrushchev. Woke them up. The leaders arrived. Looked at Stalin. Argued about what to do. Beria said, "Let him sleep it off. He's drunk." Drunk. The man was having a stroke. They knew. They just didn't care. Or secretly hoped. Finally, someone said, "Call doctors." Maybe. They called doctors. Finally. But which doctors? The best were in prison. Arrested by Stalin. The ones who came were terrified. Third-rate. Incompetent. And scared. They examined Stalin. Diagnosed a stroke. Massive cerebral hemorrhage. Their hands shook. Because getting this wrong meant death. But also, what if they saved him? And he remembered who hesitated? Who didn't try hard enough? Either way. Death. So they did the minimum. And hoped. Stalin didn't die immediately. He suffered. For 4 days. Stroke. Paralyzed right side. Couldn't speak. Couldn't move. But conscious. Sometimes. He'd wake up. See the faces around him. His inner circle. Pretending to care. He knew. He knew they were waiting. Calculating. Planning. His succession. His removal. And he couldn't do anything. The terror he created. Becoming his prison. Beria gave the performance of his life. When Stalin was unconscious, Beria mocked him. Laughed. Called him names. The moment Stalin regained consciousness, Beria dropped to his knees. Grabbed Stalin's hand. Kissed it. Wept. Proclaimed loyalty. Stalin would lose consciousness. Beria would stand dust off his knees. Make jokes. Stalin's eyes would flutter open. Beria would collapse. Weeping. Again. Theater. Calculated. Cruel. March 4th. The hemorrhage spread. Stalin's breathing became irregular. Gasping. Death rattle. The doctors said hours. Maybe a day. The inner circle prepared. Messages sent. Arrangements made. The world would be told soon. But not yet. They needed plans. Agreements. Who would lead? How to split power. Stalin was still technically alive. So technically, still in charge. His last act of terror. Dying slowly. Keeping them waiting. Svetlana. Stalin's daughter. She was called to his bedside. She arrived. Saw her father. Dying. She held his hand. Cried. Real tears. Unlike the others. Stalin seemed to recognize her. His good eye focused. For a moment. Tried to speak. Couldn't. A tear ran down his face. His only human moment. In 4 days of dying. 1 tear. For his daughter. Then nothing. Consciousness fading again. Back to political theater. March 5th morning. Stalin's skin turned dark. Purple. Organs shutting down. Heart failing. Brain destroyed. Each breath a struggle. The doctors stepped back. Nothing more to do. The officials pulled chairs closer. The vigil. Waiting for history. For their moment. For the dictator to finally stop breathing. And release them. To freedom. To power. To whatever came next. Without him. 9:50 p.m. March 5th. Stalin's breathing changed. Terminal. Final. His daughter held one hand. His son Vasily the other. The inner circle stood. This was it. Stalin's face contorted. Struggling. His left hand. The only one that worked. Rose up. Lifted. Pointing. At all of them. His last gesture. Accusation. Curse. Warning. Then the hand fell. One last breath. Gone. Joseph Stalin. Dead. At 9:50 p.m. March 5th, 1953. Stalin was dead. Vasily, drunk, started screaming. They've killed him. The doctors killed my father. Security dragged him out. Svetlana collapsed. Genuine grief. The officials. Relief. Immediate. Visible. Masks dropping. Beria practically ran from the room. To seize power. To secure files. To arrest his enemies. Before anyone else could. The race was on. Stalin's body still warm. And already forgotten. Power waits for no one. Not even death. March 6, 4 a.m. Soviet radio announced. The heart of Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin has stopped beating. The nation wept. Millions. Genuine grief. He was their father. Their protector. Or so they'd been told. For 30 years. The propaganda worked. They didn't know. Couldn't know. The millions he'd killed. The terror he'd created. They only knew the myth. The hero. And they mourned. While his inner circle divided the spoils. The autopsy confirmed it. Massive cerebral hemorrhage. Started March 1st. When he fell. If treated immediately. He might have survived. Partially. But 12 hours of delay? Fatal. The doctors documented everything. Brain destroyed. Organs failed. Then they buried the report. Why? Because it showed negligence. Deliberate delay. Murder by inaction. Stalin's inner circle let him die. On purpose. The autopsy proved it. So the autopsy was classified. For decades. Beria thought he'd won. Became deputy premier. Head of security and secret police. Most powerful position. For 3 months, he ruled. Then June. Khrushchev and the others arrested him. Accused him of treason. The same charges Beria used on others. Ironic. December 1953. Beria was executed. Shot in the head. In a basement. Just like he'd done to thousands. What goes around? The terror devours its children. Always. Eventually. Stalin ruled by fear. For 30 years. Killed millions. Terrorized a nation. And died the same way. Afraid. Alone. Helpless. His guards too scared to help. His doctors too incompetent to euro because he'd killed the competent ones. His inner circle actively hoping he'd die. The system he built killed him. Perfectly. Poetically. He died how he lived. In terror. Surrounded by people who feared him. Or hated him. Or both. The man who trusted no one. Died because no one could be trusted. To save him. Because he'd made trust impossible. Made mercy dangerous. Made hesitation fatal. His last 12 hours. Lying in his own waste. Trying to call for help. Unable to speak. The most powerful man on earth. Powerless. That's how tyranny ends. Not in glory. In a puddle. On the floor. Alone. Like this video if Stalin got exactly what he deserved. Subscribe for more true history. Comment, does fear always destroy those who rule by it? Because Stalin proved it does. Every time.